I turned it on and then off.
There you go.
Thank you. This week, all week long, I have been trying to find the perfect opening for my little talk. Couldn't find anything. Thank you. I'm not used to this. I'm used to raising my voice to the students, grades 1 through 8. So I didn't find the perfect opening until Friday night. I was sitting with my iPad, and a special came on that I hadn't anticipated. And they said, this is going to be a 2-hour special of the Bee Gees, my favorite singing group, Staying Alive. And they played a number of songs as they talked. They played a number of songs. Anyway, one song resonated with me, and it was Words. Words are all I have to take your heart away. And I thought, this is so perfect. I didn't have to look any longer, because today I'm talking about words. And the first word, as a member of the Stewardship Committee, I'm going to present this morning, is stewardship. And I'm going to write it because I know that we learn by sight as well as hearing.
I'll just hold it so it doesn't roll off.
Oh, thank you. Let's see if I can stop.
I'll be your stand.
My stand? Okay, mine. This is not my hand shaking, it's the board. Dankeschön. Stewardship. What does stewardship mean?
It's on.
Is it
Hold
on? Oh. What is a good steward? Well, I'll tell you, I knew the best steward in the world. He was my late husband, the Reverend Thomas Dudley, who passed away 10 years ago, this coming December. He was the poster boy for stewardship. He loved being on stewardship committees. He loved talking about being a good steward. And I think a good steward is always thinking about the good in people, thinking about doing good and doing the right thing. Thomas built 2 Lutheran churches in his career, one in Birmingham, Alabama, and one in Great Falls, Virginia. Both affluent communities, beautiful cities. And I think a steward is one who properly manages his money, her money, his affairs, her business and her affairs and finances. One more word goes up here. The next word. Sir, thank you. Oh, I like having you as my sir. The next word is tithe. Thanks. To tithe, to give a portion of one's yearly income to the church, but we're really giving it back to God for all of our blessings. I hope the wind doesn't kick up here. I'm going to point this out to you. You're going to receive this in the mail this week at some point. And I thought of this poem by Robert Frost. And it was also printed in the materials for us to read over before we gave our talk. And I thought, what a coincidence that I thought about this first. So I'm not plagiarizing or copying. I'll read it. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. On our walk with Jesus, it is important that we choose the correct road. Growing up in Toledo, Ohio, I hope you know of Toledo, Ohio. If not, I'll refresh your memory. Toledo is 1 mile south of Detroit, Michigan, known by Libby Owensford, Toledo Scales, and my favorite, Jamie Farr from MASH, who is constantly, to this day, trying to get out of the Army on a Section 8. And it doesn't work. He dresses out of uniform into women's dresses. And Jamie lived on LaGrange Street. I lived on White Street. I didn't know him in Toledo. I didn't know him until the TV series. But when you see him on television, you hear him talk about Tony Packo's hot dogs. When they order out for food for the MASH, Tony Packo's restaurant exists in Toledo. My mom and dad would take my sister and me every week to Tony Packo's for a fish fry. So whatever Jamie Farr says is all right by me because he's telling the truth about Toledo. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I saw my dad sitting at his desk. And I asked him what he was doing. And he said, I'm writing a check to the church. I'm tithing. Well, that's not what I heard. I heard him say he was riding a tiger. And I said, but you're not riding a tiger. There's no tiger here. And he chuckled, of course. My mother couldn't wait to tell all the aunts and uncles and cousins about my little misunderstanding. And he said, no, dear, I'm writing this check to St. Mark's Church, telling them that I'm tithing. And of course I said, what is that? And he said, it's giving back to God what is really God's in the first place, and thanking him for our affluence. And I said, what's that? And he said, well, we have food on the table every day. We have a car in our garage. You have a school, good teachers, good friends. And I probably said, oh, and walked off. But lesson learned. Now, this is what I know. And I know that I know. From my heart to your heart. We're going to talk about tithing and money now. And sometimes talking about money is a real challenge. But I don't think it is here. I feel the love and the friendship. Money is energy. We need to spend the money, get it circulating out into the universe so that when it circulates, it comes back to us. If we stop the circulation of money in our lives, we stop circulation back into our lives. Some people think nothing of dropping a few dollars for a lottery ticket. And you expect something back for that. And when you don't win, You feel sad, dejected? I've got an answer for that. Tithing is guaranteed. When you tithe, you always get at least 200% in blessings. I'm going to talk about tithing now. Tithing is loving God more than yourself, loving your community, tithing is thanking God for all that He has given us, seen and unseen. And this is my favorite. Tithing gives us a sense of peace that you have never, ever felt before. This is something I know, and I know that I know from personal experience. Healthy giving is a part of healthy living. Don't be afraid to give your tenth. It's a balance of respect for ourselves and for our community and others, a chain of giving and receiving. Ask God to help you to take the right road, and you will be doing what's right and giving what's right. And now to conclude, at St. Mark's Lutheran Church in Toledo, Ohio, Pastor Van Scoy would say this little poem I'm going to read to you. And I know it was before catechism, before I started catechism, because I've heard it all these years, or all the years I was at St. Mark's, which were many. He would stand with the offering plates in his hand. The ushers, usually 4 men, would come down the aisle. It was a big church. Would come down the aisle and stand in front of Pastor Van Scoy. And he would hold out his hands, pass out the offering plates, hold out his hands, and say this poem. It's called The Angel. Go give to the needy, sweet charity's bread. The angel looked at me and said, but shall I be giving again and again? My selfish and pitiful plea began. Oh no, said the angel, piercing me through. Just give till the Lord stops giving to you. Amen and amen.